Hello and welcome to the video. You could like, share and subscribe to the channel, much appreciate it. Liking up the algorithm, sharing gets in front of people's faces, and subscribing lets me know you like the channel. Hit that notification bell to let you know when videos go live. Apologies if this part of my lip is like a little bit raised. I've had dental stuff today and just had numbing stuff there, which is a real pain in the backside, but it is what it is. So, Sheffield Wednesday have been taking interesting steps for the rest of their games for the remainder of the season. I taken some off-field way to do it to help with away tricks going forward, and that's something that's really interesting. So with us having a lot of longer trips recently, Swansea, Plymouth, they wanted to try and see if we can improve this a little bit. The Wednesday players had undertaken the bulk of minutes in the class were whisked back to the hotels for a not inexpensive treatment, including time in a cryo chamber, a cold therapy that folded the body to extreme cold temperature to help with recovery. And such was the length of the journey. Players returned to Sheffield long into the morning, and some returned on their regular coach. But many were afforded the benefit of hired a sleeper coach, fitted with beds that would allow them to get some much needed rest for the journey north. It's part of trying to make sure their recovery is better. And these are little things that doesn't get talked about in football in general. How just having something where they can lay down flat could be a lot easier for them after a game, and they're like sat like this for a journey or whatever, or laid out. So they are trying to make sure that they don't risk any more issues and or like the injury situation. Because you look at what we got 3 centre-backs out. Akin, Deshaun, Dom, all out now. So we know that with Bernard, we're not going to see him for 6 months. So Danny's trying to utilise whatever he can to try and help them get the best out of the players. And I think this is smart. Not cheap. It's something where people are going to be like, well, we should be using that money to go get a centre-back in. But it makes sense to go and rest the player properly. Make sure they can have that recovery time. There'll be stuff that have been spoke about, like how do we get the players in top shape before something happens. So doing the cryo breathing technique helped. And I think it's one of those things, you look at it, you go, it's something we're not used to as a club and probably as a fan base, the technique doing, because we've not had that experience of using this kind of technique and using like the sleeper coach. Some went back on a regular coach, some went back on the sleeper coach. But it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, it makes sense. It shows you where Danny's looking at bits and pieces all over the place. And it's interesting to see that. But it's one of these things where we're 5 points off that 50-point mark, which Danny wants us to get. He wants to get the 50-point target. He set it for his players some weeks ago. The feeling the 6th match between now and mid-March are designed to keep the club in touch, and then they'll go. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because 5 points isn't a lot. And it's one of those things where I keep saying we're playing like a mid-table team. And I keep saying how I'm okay with that. What I said at that season, if we get mid-table, fantastic. Anything better than that is a bonus. And I'd be very happy with it indeed. But at the same time, I do understand that the teams around us, it only takes for one blip and you're back down to where we were. Like, look at Middlesbrough. They were top 6. They're now 9th. It's that tight. Danny said, sometimes we will be close, sometimes we'll be a little bit far away. I take this season in 4 quarters. First season, we learnt about each other. Second part, taking it steady part. Third part, staying tough with the playoffs. Sometimes 2, sometimes 5, but at least stay in touch. And then hopefully in the last quarter, we're in a position where we can go all in and take it. The goal now is small. 50 points in the championship. You never know if it was good today. 8th position, we stay in touch. Let's see what happens in the next 6 games. They are tough games. They are tough away games, but it is always something for us to chase there. And it'll be interesting to see what Danny does. I am going to be really interested to see what Danny goes and how he plays and how he sets the team up. I thought last night he said it okay. in terms of what he managed to put together. I thought Ingleson had a good game. Some people said he looked a bit lightweight. But again, I think Ingleson is one of the ones who needs to run a games. I think the whole Myth-Ugbo debate is going to go on. People are going to say starting versus Coventry. And I would say, okay, starting versus Coventry, let's see what happens. But if you look at the 8 out of the 5 goals, he got 8 goals. 5 of those goals came from being off the bench. At the moment, he's playing as that impact player. I do think this is where you could probably see someone like a Mitt Neal step up and go, look, Gaffer, I'm ready to be that next other person if you need it, and just see what happens. There's no harm in throwing him in and giving him a try and see how we go. And it's one of those things, the argument for this is going to just roll on all through the season. And there are going to be so many people in the summer saying, get rid of Ugbo, sell him, let him go, we'll pick someone else up. And I get people's frustrations with it. But it can be interesting to see what we do, right? At the end of the day, when they've got this situation, we're 5 points off. We're still in touching distance. It's doable if we use that kind of belief we used last season. But if you look at the game coming up, let's just have a look at the game coming up a minute, because we've got Coventry on Saturday. We got Burnley on Friday. We got Sunderland on the 28th at our place on Friday again. The following week, we got Plymouth away. Then we got Norwich away. And then we got Sheffield United at home. And then we got a week off. And then the next game after that is Cardiff away. So big games. Big games. And the game where you want to try and pick up as many points as humanly possible. And if we can do that, then fantastic. And if you think about the Easter period, which is always busy, you've got Stoke, Middlesbrough, Portsmouth in April. So it's going to be really interesting to see whereabouts we are and how close we are come April, because we'll know. Because 3rd of May is the last game of the season. And are we going to be in touching distance and nearly there and going, oh, we just missed out and that's our season? Or is it going to be a mid-table finish? It can be interesting to see. There's still a lot to play for. I know a lot of people are still saying about playoffs. I still had that thing. As long as we get the 50-point mark, and even if we stay mid-table, then great. And I'll said it again, and I'll say it now, and I said it in this video. As long as if we get mid-table, fantastic. Anything else than that, I'd be extremely happy with it and proud of the club and the team for it. But we've got to see what happens next. And so far, we're doing the right thing to try and make sure we put these injuries that we've had in the past a little bit lower down the pecking order so it doesn't happen as often.